speed is optimized so that, again, the operator is never waiting for a document to be OCR'd. And we can do document and batch splitting based on blank page, based on barcode, based on patch code, or based on text to actually help the document separation and document preparation time. So in many cases, you can actually set it up so that you can process your documents without having to do a lot of manual document preparation. So reducing document preparation as well as data entry is a key benefit of the technology. Now, once we've converted the image, done the OCR, we can then extract the data automatically. And by setting up rules around the data extraction process, we can reduce the actual manual data entry by as much as 80, sometimes even 90%, okay? Typically no less than a 50% reduction in data entry, but it can be as much as 80 or 90%. We can apply business rules to automatically reconcile data, so you can automatically reconcile rows or columns to check that a row adds up to the total, so a part number or a number of pieces times the price actual equals what's in the total, and then you can check that a column reconciles so that all the totals in the column actually add up to the total listed at the bottom of the invoice. You can auto-validate against databases to make sure that when you click on a vendor name that that vendor exists in the database, and if it does exist, to automatically populate additional fields rather than having to re-enter that information manually. Once you've finished your processing, SimpleCapture allows you to route the data as well as the images. You can export the data into your back office system, again in this case into QuickBooks, but you can send your data to multiple destinations so that maybe you're going to send your data into QuickBooks, but maybe you want to send the same data in an XML format to a separate report generator. And so you can do that, or to output to a main branch or a main location so they can upload it into their ERP system. You could do that. You can also send to most popular document management systems. We have direct integrations, as I said, into Papervision and Image Silo by Digitech, to Microsoft SharePoint and Windows SharePoint services, to DocuWare, to Laserfish, to FileBound, to DocuLex. So many of the popular document management systems are out there can be populated by data coming from the SimpleCapture solution. All right, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Gary and let him actually show you how SimpleCapture works and what the integration with QuickBooks actually looks like.
Thank you, Jeff. Please confirm that you can see my screen.
Yes, I can.
All right. So right now on my machine, I have SimpleCapture Professional up and running. Many of you probably already familiar with this product, but for the first time people, I'm going to quickly introduce you to the interface in SimpleCapture. Now, in this left corner, we have a few documents that we're going to process. We call it the batch window. We have also profile selected and a list of profile fields. Basically, a field, it's a list of indexes of data that we're going to extract from this document. And as you can see, here's my document that we're going to process. Now, one of the more popular, very popular feature of SimpleCapture is called AutoFind. I'm going to quickly show you, demo this feature, how it works, because it may also speed up, it will greatly speed up the data entry process. The idea is that for the first time, the system learns the way you click on the document, so the next time it sees similar document, it will try automatically process it. Now let me show you how it works. In SimpleCapture, the idea of SimpleCapture is just to use your mouse. So everything is mouse driven. Basically you click enter on the data. You don't have to manually key in. So as you can see, we have to enter invoice number. So for the invoice number, I'm going to simply move my mouse over the invoice number and click on this data. And it's captured. Now here goes invoice date, then goes vendor name, balance due, and term. So all the information is entered, and we can send to our final destination. So I click OK, and it's going to export it. Now take a look at this document. It's a similar invoice from the same vendor, from the Artsyl Inc. And as you can see, there is a yellow border around my field this time. So that's an alert from the AutoFind feature that you may process this document automatically. All you have to do is just press F3 button on your keyboard. I'm going to click F3. And as you can see, all data is automatically extracted. So that's the idea of the AutoFind. So in my profile, I have 5 fields, but you're not limited to 5 fields. Maybe you need to extract 20 fields or 50 fields or 100 fields. It's possible. It's very easy to configure. There is no scripting, no programming is required. Very easy to do it. So again, I'm going to click OK, and I'm exporting this document. One more document, F3, OK. Everything is extracted, and it sends to my final destination. If you need to know more about this feature, we can later on set up a demo for you just to show you how it works, how to configure. But it's very easy to do, and it's a very useful feature. Now let's switch back to QuickBooks. For integration with the QuickBooks, all you have to do is to open Tools, Global Options on your machine, go to the Export Destination tab, and select Export to QuickBooks. Once you put this check mark, SimpleCapture will extract this information to QuickBooks. And we have already predefined profiles, so you don't have to create manually anything. Simply from a drop-down list, you select your profile. We have profile for checks, profile for invoices, and for the POs. So you just simply select proper profile, and you're ready to go. Now let's process this check. So for the check date, I'll move my mouse over a date, click on it. Check number is right here. Now check issue, it's a company. Quite often companies, they print their logo, so that information is not really printed on the check, so I cannot really click on it. So you can manually key in this data, or in SimpleCapture you can use a feature such as a database lookup. So you may configure to look up by a phone number or by email or by address. So it will do a lookup, and it will find your vendor from a database, and it will extract the vendor's name automatically for you. So, but in this case, I'm going to just simply capture as a Jackson for this check. And amount is right here. I'm going to click on it, and we're ready to send to QuickBooks. Let me click OK. Now, for the first time, QuickBooks will show you this security warning message, which is normal. It's for the first time. Basically, you have to allow SimpleCapture to use QuickBooks data. So you have to agree that, yes, you want to allow this application to control data, and you grant access. And that's a one-time warning message. You don't have to configure it anymore. And as you can see, SimpleCapture alerts us that this customer, Jackson, is not in our database. It's not existing in QuickBooks file, and it's asking us if we would like to add it as a new customer. So I select yes, and it will automatically create this customer in QuickBooks. Now we've exported this document to QuickBooks. So let's take a look at QuickBooks, and I'm going to click on our customers. And as you can see, a new customer is automatically created, and there is a payment with all information already sits in the QuickBooks. Amount, date, number, so that information is already there. Now let's take a look at invoices. That's a sample invoice. I'm gonna zoom in a bit so you can see it clearly. And let's process it as well. For the vendor name, again, it's Artsyl Inc. Invoice number is right here. Invoice date. Terms is credit card. And for the invoice, we have line items. So we have a table that we're going to process. For the line items, we can do it one by one, but in SimpleCapture, there is a much faster way just to use a rubber band trick. Basically, you can just select all items in a column with one mouse click. So if you have like 20 items, just one click to capture all items. So for the items, number is right here, description is right here, quantity, price, and the total. So as you can see, I captured 2 line items, and it sits in a SimpleCapture. Now, if you notice, there is a green check mark right beside each line. That's an alert. There is a business rule which is applied to this table that's going to verify that quantity multiplying by price, it should match an amount. And if something wrong, it's going to give you a warning message. You will immediately see that there is some sort of discrepancy. That's one of the rules. Another rule can be applied as for the sum of items, just to verify it with a subtotal, and so on. We have many rules in SimpleCapture that you can use, connect and use, just to verify additionally that there are no any discrepancy. And all we have to do now just to capture total, it's right here, and let's send it to QuickBooks. Now again, we see a message that such vendor is not in the QuickBooks yet. We'd like to add it. We click on Add, yes. And for the line items, we have to configure what type and to which account these items are applied. So for this item, for this monitor, I will select it as an inventory part. Again, you can select any other. There is a drop-down list. You basically click on the list just to pick the item you want, and for the account, we will leave it as a check-in. And if you have multiple items, to speed up this process, we have this button here, Fill All, and if you click on it, it will automatically fill in the same value for all columns. Now we're ready to send it. Click OK. And the document is processed. It sits in our QuickBooks. Let's switch back to QuickBooks, and let's take a look at vendors, and we're going to search for this vendor. It was Artsyl Inc. As you can see, it's right here. That's a transaction, and let's open it up. And as you can see, that it shows us all this information: amount, due, items. So all the information is there. That's basically how it works. So it's nothing really much to configure, just one check mark, and you allow security for the warning, just to grant permissions for the QuickBooks, and